It's 5:30. It appears I have passed enough time for this power cut to not grate the living daylights out of me, but that's only until the next power cut. Like I said in previous videos, the power cut crisis in this country is like the Squid Game red light, green light game in particular, where during a power cut, it's red light and you just gotta freeze, and if you dare move in that time, you're gonna get shot dead, and then green light, that's when you get to work. How many people dropped like dominoes? I don't know, but I shall not be one of them, because during your red light that day, I gotta find a way to survive the inevitability of morbid depression. South Africa, you're sitting where you're sitting thinking that you're good and well. What in the world is going on? Look at the back of my car. It is a storage facility, for crying out loud, you bunch of gangsters. Because I have nowhere to put my stuff, and my family members aren't even ashamed of neighbors coming and realizing that my vehicle is literally a storage facility. There was a guy, he drives an ADT car, like a armed security, armed response, neighborhood watch, that was just kind of driving around, and because he saw me, he greeted, and then I was like, "Hi guy, what's up?" He was like, "Ma'am, I just want to know, are you selling this car, or do you know why he imagined my vehicle was being sold?" Because he observed, being an ADT driver that's always frequenting the zone, that it is stationary first and foremost, and secondly, it's dirty. There's a whole bunch of dust on it, so nobody's taking care of it, and thirdly, it appears to go absolutely nowhere. So he was like, "Are you selling it?" I guess it would be the tantamount of stationary. So he was like, "Are you selling it?" And I was like, "No, sir, I'm not selling my car." But the fact that he was able to make that observation, being a person from the outside that doesn't even live in the complex, but merely just drives around in the neighborhood, the fact that he was able to observe that I'm sitting, literally there is a car that is parked that is not going anywhere, tells me that people notice what's going on. Yet there is an apathy, a general one at that, because herein lies the deal with South Africans. If at all you're not participating in the mutiny against some other South African's life, you are complacent in the mutiny against that person. You're just sitting around doing nothing, like we're standing back. How does a country survive when completely innocent people are allowed to languish and grow green fuzz because they're molding? How in the world do you go and grab a skilled professional and make their CV rust? A country that already is struggling with a skills exodus has allowed one of its citizens that was highly skilled, well equipped to boost this economy, to just sit for so long that she will no longer be viable in the marketplace with any level of trust upon her being called in for an interview. It'll never work for me to explain my story now after 8 years of apparently doing nothing with my life. Plus, it's going to get me underestimated. You do stuff like that to people on the ground, and again, among some of your most skilled resources, and you think that that's not God judging the living daylights out of you. On the day when you go and you grab all of your really highly skilled and highly qualified people, and you just treat them like they ain't jack, let them mold on the side of the street, allow them to entropy on the side of the street, to dystrophy and dystrophy on the side of the street, for their muscles to go soft on the side of the street, to literally convert an entire graduate into somebody who cleans cars, or he is like who is a car guard, to go and grab an individual that studied for years at university and make them a security guard outside of a bank, when then that is your general reputation as a country, to go and grab a person who should be working in already an industry that is understaffed, washing cars, like teachers. There are people with teaching degrees in this country that are washing cars. It is already understaffed. When a country is allowing that to happen, goodbye. That's what you need to understand. You know what it is similar to? The satraps and administrators in the days of Daniel hid the most highly skilled person among them. They saw that Daniel was facing a future of promotion because he was really highly favored by King Darius. And so they made the king come up with a decree that Daniel could not honor. And they got him thrown in the lion's den. Thank God, the dude came out, Darius elevated him to the position that he deserved all along, and caused the satraps and administrators to be put in the lion's den, and so they're the ones that got burned to death. Not burned, what is this? Consumed, gnawed away at, mauled at by lions. South Africans continuously kick into the proverbial lion's den a whole bunch of proverbial Daniels. People who are actually the best for the job. I got knocked out of the workforce by people who were substandard to me in their skills. And because they realized what I was about, and I was, again, looked upon with favor by the leadership of the organization, they just booted me out. Threw me in the lion's den, made me languish for years And with that kicking out of skills out of the country, with all of your sabotage, all of the saboteurs that you are, you seriously imagine that one of these days you're not going to be thrown into the lion's den that you imagined Daniel was going to get consumed in. Here it is that I am still in a little bit of a neat bunch, still very intelligent, still very viable, if anything, still more skilled than the very people who kicked me out of the workforce, thinking that I will just gather dust and mold and rust and be unable to catch up with the times, when we are living in an information age where like catching up with what has advanced is at a fingertip, just a Google click away. They thought that I would just stay stagnated in this insanity. If anything, I'm more advanced than them now. I've never studied more. I'm like a person that undergoes homeschooling. Everybody knows that homeschooled kids come out a lot more knowledgeable. They have a lot more knowledge, what is the word, aptitude. They have a lot more knowledge retention. Homeschooled kids than kids who go through the public or the governmental school system, due to the fact that they've got one-on-one interaction with teachers, and they tend to study more. They learn more because they're in the comfort of their own homes. So I'm like a person who is homeschooled, even in the advancements in technology within the fields I come from, such that I would be able to hit the ground running in any job that would be given me today in an industry that I left, without it looking as if there was ever a gap in the middle. But don't nobody care, because this country is losing its cool, its swagger. It's being extracted out of it because the Lord God Almighty has seen it fit to judge you by causing you to throw into the lion's den, indeed, Daniel. And the guy would not get consumed, but the day's gonna come when all of y'all satraps and administrators are the ones devoured by the lions. I wonder all of those colleagues who kicked me out. One of them was this mediocre chick who took forever and a day to ever get promoted to project manager. She had to grovel like a dog just to get seen by anyone at all. And she used so much witchcraft on not only me, but many of my colleagues on the left and on the right, that she might come out tops in that environment. If today she's somebody's boss lady, what in the world is she doing? How in the world is she respectable? And how is she able to be a strategist? Because that's the thing, when you long to be in a position of power, you have got to naturally be a strategist. So if that is not your natural gifting, you're just going to be bouncing up and down, like spinning on the spot, gyrating, vibrating like an atom, with no real direction, lacking any real respect from your subordinates on the ground. But because of your positional power, they will say yes ma'am or yes sir to you. However, you will have no real respect, and on top of that, you will make no real difference. And so in making no real difference in the organization, I guess you keep it stagnated, but they can't find anybody else who is better. Why? Because you have put them in the lion's den. That is South Africa. Do you? I'm leaving. I don't care. You and your skills exodus, you with your mediocrity and your freaking power cuts, you and your corrupt government where who's this, like the president of the country gets away with putting money in a couch and nobody's even trying to get him impeached. His whole party has kept him in power. Keep your country. Keep it. I'm signing out on Christ's name. We're done here. We're done. I've passed enough time. I'm going to go take a shower. Hopefully by the time that I'm done, slowly applying moisturizer, slowly putting on panties, slowly doing anything at all, the power will have been restored. And so I survived yet another red light season of red light, green light. Take your country. I don't want it anymore. Whether or not I was born here, I literally wash my hands off. I dust my feet off. I am emancipating myself from being the child of South Africa. I am done.